Orleans Saints podcast, presented by Rouse's Markets. You'll hear from players, coaches, broadcasters, and writers that cover the NFL daily. The New Orleans Saints podcast starts right now. Here are your hosts, Erin Summers and Todd Graffagnini.
Welcome into the New Orleans Saints podcast, day 2 here in Irvine. A little cooler, a lot more breezy. It was really nice out here. Erin Summers, Todd Graffagnini on site all week because we got the game on Sunday and then we're here all next week as well. And lots to get to in this episode today. There was the scrimmage and then the news of the day. Head coach Kellen Moore announced that Spencer Rattler will in fact start on Sunday against the Chargers. Then Tyler Shough will come in and then Jake Haener will come in. Everyone is going to get some time there. The QBs are going to all get some run, and that's what we saw today in the scrimmage as well. That was the exact same order that we saw take the field.
Well, that was the big news. Obviously, Erin, what the quarterback rotation is going to be, that's what everyone's been asking pretty much from day one of training camp, and now we know. And, you know, Kellen Moore mentioned that this was discussed yesterday, so the quarterbacks knew what the rotation was going to be for Sunday before the scrimmage today. By the way, 66 was the official tally, 66 plays on the scrimmage, but no, it was good. It was good work again out here. The energy was there. Both sides of the ball did good things, and all three quarterbacks performed, and we saw really Rattler and Shough engineer some touchdown drives and some really nice throws, good decisions with their legs. And it's, look, you know, I know what the rotation is going to be on Sunday, but it does not necessarily mean that's going to be the rotation in the opener against the Arizona Cardinals. You know, Kellen Moore talked about that specifically. And look, these guys have everything in front of them. And now we're going to play some real games, which is really what this is all about.
Yeah, there were some good drives for sure, as both of those players, Shough and Spencer Rattler, were able to engineer 2 different touchdown drives, got into the end zone twice. Jake Haener did not. He actually did have the only interception on the day, and it was a tipped ball by Isaiah Stallbird, and then it was Jonas Sanker, the rookie, who caught the ball there and ended that drive for him. He did have a couple opportunities to get some points with some field goal attempts. However, Charlie Smith unable to knock those through. Did knock through every extra point, though. As I mentioned, there was some wind out here. He was the one kicking today, so struggled in the field goal range, but was good from extra.
Well, Rattler really set the tone. First drive of the day. I mean, we start at the minus 35-yard line. He goes 9 plays and hits Rashid Shaheed on a beautiful 31-yarder down the left sideline. Excellent thrown ball. Shaheed in stride. There was just no way that Reed was going to be able to hang with him, the safety Justin Reed, and it was an easy touchdown. That's a great tone setter. And it was one of the 2 touchdowns that Rattler threw. I think, you know, he just talked to the media, Rattler did, and said the touchdown to Cedric Wilson really probably should not have been thrown, and Wilson really bailed him out. But, you know, sometimes receivers got to go up and make plays, and that's what makes quarterbacks look good. But, yeah, no, he did well, and I think he would have, again, gotten more points, but again, like you talked about, Charlie Smith had a tough day. It was a really vicious cross breeze, left to right here, 15 plus, and he just wasn't able to get the feel of it, and all 3 of his kicks went wide right, and it was just got caught up in the wind. So, but yeah, Rattler, I mean, you could argue would have scored points on every drive that he had today. So he did really, really well, and Tyler Shough, after kind of a tough start, really stepped his game up and had a couple of touchdown drives as well, including, you know, he got credit for a run, which really I thought it should have been a touchdown pass to Mason Tipton. I think the referees kind of jobbed him on the spot, but, you know, a tremendous decision, you know, on the read, on the zone read to or the run option to Cam Akers, because technically that was supposed to be a handoff to Akers, and Shough saw that he had a wide open touchdown, so instead of handing off, you got to make that split decision. So Akers is actually thinking he's going to get a handoff, and Shough had the presence of mind to keep it, and I mean, he could have hopscotched into the end zone, so it was a really good decision. But that's the kind of football IQ things that you've seen from Tyler Shough. So again, it was just a good day out here.
Yeah. Later on in the team sessions, Shuck had his second touchdown, and it was, he was about to get demolished by Chase Young, and he floated one to Kevin Austin Jr. in the end zone, got a touchdown there, and he was getting pressured, and he was finding ways out
but he
of
can
problems.
avoid. He's got the ability to avoid sacks, and that's, I think, one of his strong suits. These off-schedule plays. That's something that Tyler Shuck really thrived in his college career in Louisville, especially. So to see him be able to translate that to the NFL, that's going to be big for him, because again, you can't just sit back there in the pocket and expect to pick people, pick apart defenses. That's not how it works here. You got to be able to figure out to make something positive out of maybe a negative start of a play. And that rollout and throw to Dante Pettis, I think, is getting my play of the day. Just off schedule, throwing on the run, so he had the mobility to get out of the pocket, and he threw a 35-yard zip to Pettis. That was just tremendous. So I like, and plays like that are going to give Tyler Shuck confidence. So it's just been good. It's been good.
Yeah, and it was good to see too that even though, as you mentioned, Spencer Rattler started so hot and set the tone, a touchdown in his first drive, that it didn't leave Tyler Shuck rattled. He settled in and he was able to finish out, and that's exactly what you want to see, is that he's able to lock in and continue to be productive throughout the rest of practice.
No hanging of the head.
Yeah.
Next play, you just flush it, and that's what he's done. Yeah. So. Look, I'm looking forward to Sunday. I'm really looking forward to seeing these guys going up against another defense. We're to the point now at camp where, most of the teams have almost pretty much played a preseason game, or they're playing them tonight or last night, or even tomorrow. We got to wait till Sunday to play. So I know these guys are chomping at the bit. They're going to have the walkthrough tomorrow. We got the day off, and let's get after it. Yeah.
Got to give one defensive shout out to Fadil Diggs today, because he had what we would say 3 sacks.
Yeah. Hat trick. The 7th round pick out of Syracuse. He's starting to make his presence known. And that's good. We also, talked yesterday in the pod about Jalen Ford, who's in his second year out of Texas now as an edge. He's really starting to make his name and presence known. He had some outstanding rushes today. Wasn't able to get the sack, but he's getting pressure on the quarterback. But yeah, Diggs would have had 3. I gave him 3. One, they, the refs kind of slept off.
May have been a flag on the play.
I'm giving him the hat trick. So hey. You want to impress the coaches? Hang 3 sacks up there. That's going to show up on film.
That is something that we're expecting to see a lot more in this Staley defensive scheme, for sure. Well, we had a special guest at practice today in Stan Verrett. He is a longtime Saints fan, still attends numerous games. I was able to catch up with him after practice and get his thoughts on what he saw out here and expectations for the Saints this season. Stan, it's great to have you out here watching the Saints practice here on the New Orleans Saints podcast. How are you doing?
Doing great. It's great to have the home team on my home turf, It's really fun to watch and to see these young guys develop. It's a fresh start for Kellen Moore and Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck. Everybody's watching the quarterbacks and, just looking to see how this is all going to come together with Kellen Moore.
How often do you get to come and watch training camp?
Training camp, not a lot, but I'm a fixture at home games. There's nothing like the Superdome on Sunday. It's how I chose my career. When I was a kid, I was never more excited than when we had a home game at home, and I was like, wow, man, what if I could do this for a job? And so it's Saints football has always been a big part of my life.
How would you rate your fandom?
10 out of 10. I told my wife when we met, I said I'm a perfectly normal human being except for golf and the New Orleans Saints, and then I'm a madman.
So tell me about it. You live on the West Coast, but you make it out there to the Superdome for every home game. How do you make that happen?
It was tough when I was at ESPN. It was tough because some Saturday nights I was literally leaving from the set, rushing to the airport to get a red eye to get to my buddy's tailgate and then get to the game.
Got to hit the tailgate first. But like now, I have more of my own schedule, and so it's a little bit easier now. But
it's one of those things where my family, we lost a house in Katrina. My parents moved away. And so my connection to home was gone from a family perspective. My brothers and sisters didn't live there anymore. And so, like, the Saints kind of became my home base. I would meet up with my friends and extended family, before and after games. And so it was my way to get back home. And, I just kind of use it as an excuse because I wanted to go anyway. but it's been my lasting connection to the city where I grew up.
Why was it so important to remain tied in to that city?
I believe it was Mayor Landrieu who said it a while back. He said, New Orleans is just all up in you. You know what I mean? It's just when you're from here, no matter where else you live, New Orleans is always a part of you. And a part of New Orleans is the Saints, always has been, And so it's always just felt really natural to me,
We were able to host the Super Bowl and showcase a little bit of the city earlier this year. It's the 50th year of the Superdome this year. What are some of your favorite memories in that building?
Well, my dad, the team was really bad when I was growing up, the paper bag years. And my dad did a one-man protest where he's like, I'm not paying good money to see that. So the rule for me was I had to go to Sunday school, but when we had a home game, I could leave without going to church because I would catch the bus to the Superdome. I had $10 seats up in the rafters, and I would get a ride home with my uncle and my cousin who had season tickets and went to all the games.
Yeah.
And, that was my process. I mean, my birthday's in August, Christmas is in December, so I would always tell my parents, all I want is Saints season tickets. It was $10 a game, $100 for the whole season, and that's all I wanted. And so, like I said, ever since I was a kid, it's just kind of always been my thing because, New Orleans is a small town masquerading as a big city, or a big city masquerading as a small town. I never quite figured out which one it is, but we got a team. And so on Sunday, New York or San Francisco or LA or wherever, okay, we got a team, you got a team, let's get on the field and see what happens, And so, when I was a kid, we lost a lot, but I would always tell my parents, one day, And in 2009, it all finally came together and they won it all, and it was just fantastic. So it's just always been a part of me. I mean, I remember from my first memories of knowing what football was, it was, okay, I like this thing called football, and we got a team. And so, cool, let's go with it. And so that was it for me,
Yeah, and you followed that, as you said, into your career.
Absolutely.
And sports became just a big passion overall for you, not just football, not just the Saints.
Yep.
Why did you want to go into broadcasting and not maybe try to play or carry a different role, a scout, a coach?
No, I tried to play. And then I got to St. Augustine, and I saw what real football talent looked like, and I realized I didn't have it. And so my mom was an educator, and she said, look, your verbal skills are really, really good. And, you're testing and writing and speaking and everything. She said, how about sports journalism? I said, it's a good idea, Mom. I think I'm going to look into that. And so, my NFL dreams died at like 14 or 15, when I saw guys who could really play. And so I said, well, how can I use the skills that I do have to be around the game and tell the stories of these phenomenal athletes? Because I think that's what viewers and listeners really want to know. They want to know what drives these athletes as people, And so getting to tell that story is getting to tell their stories is a real privilege.
You mentioned the quarterbacks a little bit when we first started talking. What is the story of the Saints right now?
Rebuilding. For fans, being patient and understanding that, this is not going to happen overnight. They're going to compete and try to win every game, but the reality is this is a rebuild, and whether it's Spencer Rattler or Tyler Shuck or Jake Hayner, it's going to be a situation where there's a quarterback without a lot of experience who's going to make some mistakes, who's going to have to grow into the job. But that's what you have to do. It just doesn't happen overnight. You got to build it. And Kellen Moore was the franchise's choice to build it, and he had great success in Philly and with the Cowboys before that. And so, you just have to wait and see. Look, maybe we get a big surprise and they come out and they put it all together right from the start, and maybe they don't. you have to just understand that it's a building process.
Yeah. Mickey Loomis said before the season started that because you're young, inexperienced at the quarterback position, the most important position on the field, other pieces have to be that much better, great. What are some of the pieces that you think can be great this year?
I love the offensive line. You've got high draft picks there, guys who, seeing them out here together, I mean, they look the part. I mean, that looks like a solid NFL offensive line, and we've seen them all perform individually, and so they have just to coalesce as a unit. Kelvin Banks looks like a home run draft pick. Fuaga has turned out to be a really good pick. Ruiz and McCoy are known commodities. And then you have Trevor Penning moving to a different position, but I mean, that guy's a road grader.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks like a guard who could clear the way for some good things in the running game. So the running game is going to have to be there to support the quarterback, and so that the offensive line. And then I'm interested to see Brandon Staley's defense has always been good at getting after the quarterback.
Yeah.
And with those guys, being able to take off, Chase Young and Cam and Granderson coming off the edge, from a standstill rather than hand it in the dirt, to see what kind of effect that could have. And some of the young edge rushers really look good too. So back end with Justin Reed and Blackman, I mean, you got two guys who've established themselves in the league, and then DeMario just keeps performing at a high level, and Pete Werner, and so it's going to be the defense is going to have to be really good, keep them in games. And then the running game is going to have to be good. You got Alvin Kamara, who, again, a known entity, star player in this league. It's good to see a guy like that committed to the rebuild when, he's been a part of the Drew Brees years when the team had a lot of success, to fully commit to be a leader on this rebuilding process. And so, look, I hope it's a quick rebuild. I hope the Kellen Moore magic comes out immediately, week one, and, they get some momentum going But if that's not the case, you have to understand that you got to be patient.
Sometimes it's nice to be the underdog or the people that people aren't focused in on you. There's no pressure, and then sometimes you play free and have fun, and maybe things will click a little bit easier for this team. They definitely seem like they're enjoying being around each other. They feel fresher the way that things have been structured. You think they're going to surprise some people?
I hope so. I mean, there is a lot of talent at different positions. I think they may need a big-bodied receiver to help out because there's a lot of speed, but I think some size could help. I mean, Bub Means could be one of the guys who provides that, but I think they may go out and try to find a big-body receiver. I love Juwan Johnson. I mean, it's when you see him in person, I mean, physically, I mean, he's a really imposing guy, and to think that he's as athletic and fast as he is. When you see how physically imposing he is, I mean, I think he's due for a really good year. Alontae Taylor, I think, is due for a really good year with Brandon Staley's ability to be creative with the defense. I think Alontae Taylor could have a breakout season. Kool-Aid McKinstry, from everything I've heard, is ready to take that year two step. And so, there's a lot of things that have to come together. A lot of young guys who have to develop into solid NFL players, and that's where the coaching staff comes in, and just fans being realistic about, look, this may take some time, Yeah. So you got to go for the ride.
Yeah. So I'm not going to ask you how many wins, not how many predictions, but how many games are you going to come to?
As many as I can. I mean, probably as many home games as I possibly can. I have a couple of other commitments, work-wise, that may kind of throw some flies in the ointment, but if I'm free on a Sunday, I'm at the Superdome. If the Saints are at home and I'm free on a Sunday, I'm at the Superdome.
Can you share anything about what you're up to besides golfing?
Not yet. I'm not at liberty. I wish I could talk about it right now, but there's still some things that need to be finalized. I kind of was thinking about maybe like semi-retirement, but then I'm like, no, there's too much stuff I want to do. And like this is working with the Saints and being here and everything. I mean, this is a passion project. I mean, something I've always wanted to do. I got to cover the team for Channel 6 when I was here, 98 to 2000, which is, it's 25 years ago. It's hard to believe. And there's still some of the folks who were there then who are still around, But yeah, there's some other stuff that I'm working on. in a few days we can have this conversation again, and I can spill the beans, but I just can't right now.
Oh, I like it. I like a tease. So we'll wait for it, and I'm excited to see what you're going to be doing and seeing you again later this season.
All right. Thanks, Erin.
Thank you.
Great seeing you guys, and great being out here.
That does it for today. Scrimmage is over tomorrow. Saturday will be a walkthrough light day for the team, because then the game on Sunday. It's 1 o'clock here on the West Coast. It is 3:05 on the Central Time.
Oh my goodness.
I don't even know what time it is right now. It's tough out here.
It's 3:05 back home, Erin.
3:05 back home. You can watch it on Fox 8, and we'll be there with the call, myself, Joel Myers, and John Stinchcomb. So definitely tune in. It should be a fun game to watch. First game under new head coach Kellen Moore. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk to you after the game Sunday to give you all of our thoughts on their first preseason game.
Thanks for listening to the New Orleans Saints podcast presented by Rouse's Markets. Join us 3 times per week on NewOrleansSaints.com, the Saints mobile app, or you can download the podcast on iTunes. We'll see you next time, right here on the New Orleans Saints podcast, presented by Rouse's Markets.